weekend foul, the need to adopt more decisive legislative action and more diligently enforce extant laws against sex offenders now dominates public and private discussions. Edo State, in particular, is advocating proper domestication of its violence against persons prohibition (VAP) law being a standout state in the country with spectacular experiences of rape and death. Annually, Okolo reports on the situation and decisive steps to stop the horror in the state.
On Sunday, May 31st, the media went agog with a tragic story of Waila Omozua, a student of the University of Benin. She had been raped and injured on Wednesday, 27th of May, and eventually died 3 days later. With this inhumane act still fresh on the table, another rape case emerged in Edo State, this time a pregnant woman. Queen Ibinewo, she was raped at her residence and found dead by neighbors who contacted the police.
The rapist is motivated by belief that he can get away with it.
Come out and let the whole world know what happened to you, so that way people can come out to help you, the government can help you.
There should be no settlement of rape cases, so that at any point in time, anyone that rapes or defiles or assaults someone else will go in for it.
It's a special court that we handle rape-related incidents, so that justice can be meted out to these victims.
Cases that have to do with rape should be expedited. Edo State should also, move fast and ensure that we also have the sexual offenders register domiciled in the state.
Edo State Governor signed the Violence Against Persons 2015 Act into law in February 2019, and the state has also had a child rights law domesticated in 2007. The effect of these laws has been mild and limited.
We'll make people aware that certain types of behavior are totally inappropriate. We have response centers that in a week or two will shortly be in place. One should have been in place if not for the COVID pandemic. At the centers, the services will be totally free, and this includes the different tests that are necessary to nail the perpetrators.
Speaker of the State House of Assembly says the state is considering applying stiffer punishments. In Benin, Anwule Okolo, NTA News.
One of the trending rape topics in Kaduna State is that of a man that raped to death a 3-year-old daughter of his neighbor. The tragedy of rape in the state, as in other neighboring states in the northwest, is assuming the status of silent pandemic, posing pervasive threats to the cherished social and spiritual norms of the communities. Our correspondent, May Jama'a Adamu in Kaduna, chronicles a situation report on this social disaster.
Lingering in the court is the case of alleged defilement of two sisters, Hawa and Rukaya, whose mother is accusing their biological father of raping them repeatedly. While these sisters are alive and growing up to the horrific tale of incest hovering over their destiny, 3-year-old Fatima Zakaria of Sabongari Ward in Zaria suffered a more gruesome act of inhumanity in 2015. She was raped to death by her father's neighbor, Usman Shehu Bashir. Her body was discovered in the room of the rapist, who confessed to perpetrating the act and was sentenced to death by hanging by Justice Kabir Dodo of the State High Court 5 years after committing the crime. Zainab Atoba, chairperson Federation of Women Lawyers Kaduna State Chapter, is still worried that it took 5 years to convict a criminal that confessed to his crime.
It is very, very sad that it is only after 5 good years.
Her worry is not unconnected with her vast experience of 2 numerous cases of rape and defilement in Kaduna State, including an elderly blind man dragged to court for raping a deaf and dumb underage girl.
So many. In Zaria, I have an 11-year-old girl who was gang raped by 11 guys under this COVID-19 lockdown. I have another 4-year-old who was gang raped by 4 guys in the same Zaria. I also have another 12-year-old who was just raped. There's another 18-year-old that is gang raped by 5 guys in Narai in Kaduna here.
And in neighboring Jigawa State, both government and parents are finding it difficult to overcome the shock brought about by the rising cases of rape in the state, with the recent case of 12-year-old minor abused by 12 persons. Abdullahi Garba bin Nukudu reports that rape constitutes more than 60% of cases before the state judiciary, which are attributed to lack of parental care to the younger girls, idleness on the part of perpetrators of the act, and compromise on the part of victims by not reporting cases to police, among other factors.
I think the solution should be hanging, or they should cut the instrument used for the rape.
The clarion calls to action are now numerous, louder and assertive, demanding more definitive, decisive measures that scare sex predators away from their criminal urge. In Kaduna, Maijama Adamu, NTA News.
Let's introduce our guest tonight on Weekend File, Professor Hawa Yusuf of the Department of Criminology and Gender Studies, Kaduna State University. Professor Yusuf, you're welcome to the program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Let's begin tonight's discussion by asking you to respond to the widespread cases of sexual violence across Nigeria now, of course, dominating the media, involving all classes of women and even children. One, as a woman, and secondly, as a mother, there is, of course, how do you feel about it?
The issue of sexual violence is not actually new. It has been in existence since time immemorial. But the upsurge this period is what is more annoying, and it is important for us to know that it is as a result of the break in the conspiracy of silence that has always been in existence, and this shaming, because since time immemorial, people believe that you should not report sexual violence. And for me, as a woman, sexual violence is not acceptable. It is becoming too much, and every woman, every man, every human out there must come out and say no to sexual violence. Because the tide of sexual violence has gone beyond rape of adult females. It has gone beyond rape or defilement of young females. It has also included our boy children. And as long as we keep quiet and continue to adhere strictly to this conspiracy of silence, we are in trouble. And I tell you, the criminal justice system is also not helping matters, because there are clauses in the criminal justice system that deprive people from coming out to say, I have been raped, my child has been raped. You see families, police officers telling you that these things should not be publicized. You find traditional leaders, you have religious leaders coming to say, don't say it. It is high time we start dealing with perpetrators, stigmatizing them. In fact, for me as a mother, my solution to this increase in sexual violence is death by hanging. People say they should castrate. People say you should cut off the instrument of sexual violence. And I, Hawa Yusuf, say there should be outright killing. Whoever has defied an underage child or any woman without her consent should be sentenced to death.
Let's hold you there for a while. You spoke about criminal justice system. We'll get to that later. But what do you think is actually the cause of the increase? It's not as if we don't know that rape has been there in the past. But what is what do we attribute to this incessant increase in rape in our country right now? What is the problem?
The thing is, now a lot more people are talking about it. We are shouting about it. And as such, the reportage has increased. Now, the people know that they can report. In those days, people have been silenced. And I call it the conspiracy of silence. But I tell you, now because the reportage is becoming higher, people are becoming more and more aware that they can actually report and that they can get justice. That is why we are thinking that it has escalated. It has always been there, but because it was not being properly reported, we have not been able to know. But the rise is because, yes, awareness is being created by all persons. You have NGOs, you have community-based organizations, you have FIDA talking about it, you have the state governments in the various states talking about it, and of recent, we have the federal government also saying people should come out and report. So the high level of incidents that we are seeing has always been there, but was not properly reported. But now that it is being reported, yes, the numbers are increasing.
All right, Professor Hawa Yusuf, do tarry along a while. Let's go for a break now. When we return, we shall discuss more with you on this very particular issue, the increase of rape cases in our country. Stay with us on Weekend File.
Mama, Uncle Kim just called me. His wife just gave birth. Hey!